Welcome to the Born to Be Brave podcast YouTube channel, where we interview brave people and share our journeys with you so you can also live a brave life and a life you love. So welcome to the program, Christina Arredondo, right?
Yes,
Look at
great
that, right?
job.
Is here with us today. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here today.
Yeah, it's exciting. And then she has the Fix and Flip Peer Connect company, right? And group
Yes, it is
and
Fix and Flip
community.
Peer Connect community. Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that goes along with our real estate thing. But tell me, I always like to ask people, how did you get to here? Like when did you inherit this business, or when you grew up, did you grow up here in Southern California and your family had a fix and flip business and they said, here we want you to take this over? Or how did you get here? Just like a short, brief synopsis of how you got here.
Thank you for saying brief because that could have been long.
Right, I know, because we're covering a lot. So like a very short,
Fast
brief.
forward.
Yeah, how did you get here?
Yeah, so no, I'm originally from Texas. I moved out here 6 years this summer. And there was no fix and flip peer connect. My business partner likes to call me the visionaire. I identify myself as a connector and a networker. But when I came out here, I was doing working contract work with different investors. And then I got into foreclosures and hard money. And I just saw so many people. I'm going to use the brutal word as being taken advantage of in the industry. And I thought there just has to be more integrity in this. There has to be a better way of doing this type of business. Really wasn't sure how. I don't come from a real estate background. My parents, I come from a medical field background, actually. My mom is a PA. My dad was in retail. So I always wanted to be in real estate. I just didn't know how to get started. So fast forward, COVID hit. And I was terrified. I didn't want to do securities anymore because people were pulling money out of the stock market. And I worked for Bank of America, and I saw all of these people getting turned away that needed help in foreclosures, and they couldn't qualify for loans. So I took the leap of faith. I went 11 months without a paycheck and learned the hard money world. And it was really tough. It was really hard. It was very scary. I didn't work with the most kind people. There was not a lot of integrity in what they were doing with business. But through that lesson, I met my current business partner who had his own brokerage. He'd been doing this at the time for 15 years, and he was flipping. And so he helped me with 2 clients in Northern California that were in a hardship. And we worked together. And then through that process of identifying his strengths and my strengths, he's like, "Hey, Christina, you talk to everybody. You everywhere you meet, you talk to people. Can you talk in front of a bunch of people if we were to throw an event together?" And I said, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And we had our first event. We had 100 people show up, and he's like, "Okay, we're on to something." And then we just started having networking events. I know that the power of people, things just start to grow organically, right? And so we just started having monthly events. And after that, our own mentors through creative funding, Buyer Beater, Trev and Rob, they've just been amazing. Not just mentors in business, but they said, "Hey, you guys should do an education program. Like, have you thought about like sitting there and structuring something, a membership, and people can actually come together and learn from you?" And Ricardo at the time, and he'll tell you, that's my business partner. He's like, "Yeah, we're just gonna let Christina figure it out, and I'm gonna watch and see what she puts together." And the vision was born, and that was only a year ago. So in June, we'll be a year old. Our education community will be a year old. We're now in 7 states. We have over 75 members, part of our community. And we just recently acquired our highest flip at 3.2 ARV. And yeah, that's where we're at today.
Well, that's exciting. And then how do you go through not getting a paycheck for 11 months? Like when people hear that, what does that mean and what does that look like? And how do you have the mindset to keep going when money maybe was tight? I don't know.
It's tight. I mean, we had just come back from COVID, right? So everything was so uncertain. And a thing about me is that I need certainty.
Mhm.
In my past, when I was married before, I used to always tell my ex-husband, I need certainty, I need certainty. But I didn't realize that there's a lot more ways that you can create certainty. My faith is really strong. So first and foremost, I want to really give thanks to being able to rely on my faith. I don't recommend anybody go 11 months without a paycheck, but it was a lot of savings. It was a lot of sacrifices. Your program is Dare to Be Brave, and it was a lot of it was a lot of soul searching and things that I had to realize. Okay, do I really need that? Man, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to afford that at the end of the month. But there was always a way that it that I was able to provide for myself. Um, there were times that I had to get very creative with what I wanted to do, how I wanted to do it, and what I wanted to learn. So I kind of thought about it as a college education. You hear about the college students and you're eating ramen and pork and beans and
Yeah.
just to get to college. So it was a kind of the same concept for me. A lot of tears, a lot of fear, but I never stopped networking and I never stopped meeting people that knew more than me, that had more than me, that were willing to share more. And they really helped me pull through those months. And when I got my first deal, at the time, the investors I was working with took 75% of my paycheck. And so I was happy with $4,000 because it was my first paycheck in 11 months. But when you break that down by hour, well, it doesn't really quite make sense. But now looking back, it was just the investment in time that I needed to do to be able to be where I'm at now to help people not have to do that.
Yeah. And I think that people don't realize how important resiliency is, and just keep going forward and keep moving forward and not giving up. And it's easier. That's why I say everyone's living below their potential, and that we are born to be brave. And you didn't throw in the towel. What advice do you have to somebody who's getting started today that's like has a W-2 job or is in college and thinking about, oh, I always want to be in real estate too? What advice do you wish they knew?
I've been very blessed that in every job that I've ever held, I've had a mentor. And these people, like I said, they networked, their circles were bigger, their experience, their fears that they had overcome were even greater than mine. And I've held on to those mentors. I do believe in the power of people. I believe in listening and being a student. Even now, I'm still a student. I'm still a student to life. I'm still a student to people that can help me. So what I advise is that you reach out, you find your network of people. You make sure that the sacrifices that you're making make sense. Write a blueprint. Write down. I did the 30, 60, 90-day rule, 30, 60, 90-day goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like you. I'm usually have a pen and paper. I'm always note taking, and every call I'm on, I'm always note taking. My brain just operates that way. And then I go back and look at those notes. I journal. So for somebody starting off, like journal, be very intentional and specific on what you're wanting to do, and also know what you're willing to give up. But most of all, just if it wasn't for my business partner now, if it wasn't for Trevor and Rob sitting down with us, in Temecula on that one conversation, it wasn't for a friend of mine that said, "Hey, you should come out to California and see what you can do," I would not be here today. So listening to those people that have your they understand your intention. They understand your heart and they understand what you're wanting to do and they can help you get there.
Yeah, and I think that being true to yourself and start and learning. So when you meet people and you think, oh yeah, I can move from Texas to California, right? Because that's a big leap, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you don't know anyone here. And then just putting yourself out there, and because fear can really stop people from taking any action. How can people manage their fear?
Again, I'm a faithful person, so I always go back to faith. Fear in my book is your lack of faith and also trying to control the situation. And I sometimes feel that fear is an alarm, right? And in the morning we wake up and we snooze the alarm and snooze the alarm. But if you get into a habit, then you wind up waking up without that alarm, right?
Yeah, over time.
Right? It's crazy. I used to make fun of my grandmother because she's like, "How do you wake up at 7 every morning without an alarm?" I couldn't even imagine. And so I kind of measure and gauge fear that way as well. That yeah, I feel it. I understand it, but it's I know what it is. I just got to overcome it. And as soon as I feel it, then I will ask for somebody for prayer, or ask somebody for advice, or I ask somebody for sometimes an opinion. It can be dangerous. But I go to those that can guide me through that fear and don't get stuck in it.
Yeah, I think it's really important to, not get paralyzed and to see it for what it is, because we all experience it. If people say, "Oh, I'm fearless," I'm like, well, that's the lie, because we all experience fear, right? And there's that scripture, 2 Timothy 1:7, for God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. And what's interesting about that is that God didn't give us fear, so where does it come from, right? And so the destroyer doesn't want us to live to our full potential and to fulfill our divine potential. And so I like that you said, call a friend, read some scripture, say a prayer, recognize it for what it is. It's an alarm to yourself. Oh, because our minds lie to us, right? And so when we pay attention, and I think having an accountability partner is so important, and being surrounded in community, because our own trauma and our own stories that we all have, right? They lie to us, right? Our brain wants to keep us safe. So it's like, oh, wait a minute, danger, danger, danger. You're going into a situation that you're not familiar with. And so it wants to keep you safe and pull you back. But all of our dreams and goals are on the other side of taking action when we experience fear. And I mean, I don't think we should be stupid too. I mean, especially when you're like underwriting deals and looking at lending money, and whether you want to get involved with anything, I think you need to do your due diligence and be smart, but you also have to take that imperfect action at some point.
I'm glad you made that point because that's what I've seen in the community since we've put this together is the confidence that people have knowing that someone is behind you. And it's so funny because sometimes we're really not even doing anything. We're just there and telling them, well, have you looked at this? Have you really checked that market? Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer's market? Okay, you're going to raise that capital, but have you really looked at that money? If we give a 15% on the return, is there going to be money in that flip for you to pay it back? Can you realistically get out of this in 6 months? And just those questions is posing this confidence in them. And now we just recently had a community member, her and her husband, she's a full-time teacher, he's a contractor. They just locked up a $1.3 million deal and raised the funds for it in Pasadena. So they've had it in them the entire time. We just guided them and supported them. And I think that's what faith is. It's relying on your faith, having someone, like you said, an accountability partner, someone that you can go to. I love going to the networking events. In fact, I met you at OCJV.
Yeah, that's where we met. And I think that this is what we talked about yesterday on my interview, is that the three people, so there was four of us sitting here at this table, and the other three of them are introverts, right? So going to their first networking event was like an out-of-body experience for them, right? And it took a lot to get them to go. At this point, I'm probably more of an extrovert, but then at this point, I really like to be an introvert in my personal time. Like, I don't want to be around a lot of people when I just want to be in my pajamas and in my bed or doing a puzzle. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think that when you don't have to do anything, but when you want something more for yourself and you want to invest in real estate, you want to do a fix and flip, or you want to take your money out of your 401k and self-manage it and get higher returns, right? And do private money, equity partnerships, and all these different things you can do, right, with your money. That's going to require a different version of yourself, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to show up at a networking event. You have to join a community, and you have to talk to people and connect with them and find out, and then listen to what they're doing and learn from them. And I do think that that does require faith in God, if you believe in God, faith in yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And then to trust, for me, trusting God and myself that, like, okay, together we can do anything. I'm unstoppable. But it is, even for, I'm an extrovert, I would say, naturally. But even for me, when I show up, it's just like, okay, big gulp, Colleen, let's go. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to kind of tell yourself,
Yeah,
right?
you do. Yeah. I mean, if that's what if you want to, I'm not right at the grocery store. I hate to go to the grocery store.
Right.
It takes a lot of faith and courage just to get up and get out.
Right?
To do that. But, in the networking events, I've met so many people out there, and I go to learn.
Mhm.
I go to learn, I go to listen. I don't even know sometimes what value that I'm going to bring to the next person that I meet. But I know that at some point our paths are going to cross again. And OCJV was just that for me. Buyer Beater, same thing. I just wanted to be part of what they were doing. I learned so much about innovation, and now, they're our business partners. So I love people, whether it's business, whether it's personal, whether it's fellowship, whether it's faith, you just don't know somebody else's story. And it's beautiful that when you can tie it all in together.
Yeah, and I think when you care about people and you just, I like connecting people together, and like, oh, someone said, oh, I need this, right? I need a roofer, or I need a general contractor here, or this person, somebody I interviewed last minute had one of their fund, someone that was going to help fund a deal for them back out last minute. And she's like, hey, do you know anyone that can help me do some gap funding here, right? And so I just think that as we network, the answer to any problem you have is not how, it's who.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like, oh, wait. And if I don't know who it is, I have other people that I'm gonna be like, hey, do you know anyone that does this? Right?
Yeah, that's right.
And I think that the more who's we know, and we help each other, and it just makes it a beautiful world. And I feel like I have this theory that there's like invisible threads of love that connect us all together. That's why I quit watching the news a long time ago, because they show it very different, right? And that's such a small portion of the population that are committing the crimes and all the awful stuff, but it seems like it's really big. But really, we live in this beautiful, divine, helpful world, right? I think it was Mr. Rogers said, look for the helpers, right?
That's so funny.
Yeah. And I feel like if we tell ourselves it's hard and it's going to be difficult, then it's going to be hard and difficult. It's going to be a story we tell ourselves. If we tell ourselves it's easy, and like literally, I always tell myself abundance flows to me and through me, because I always want to be an instrument for the abundance to do good in the world that God wants me to help, and shine the light. And in fact, my real goal in life is for every person who comes in contact with me is to feel God's love for them through our interaction, even if they don't believe in God, just to have that good light and energy. But what's interesting is, so I always pick up abundance when I see it. So if I see a penny or a dime or a nickel or whatever, yesterday I picked up $1. $1.
It's not inflation. It's not in your abundance world.
Right? Isn't that funny? Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, I parked my car and there was $1 when I got out. Isn't that funny? I was like, well, I'm picking that up. It was in the gutter, I'm like, well, thank you, universe. Thank you, God, right?
I love that. When we were younger, my mom used to shop on Sundays at Kmart.
I remember Kmart. Kmart shoppers.
Yep, that's right. And so I still have this in my diary somewhere. But we got out of the car, and my sister found a roll of money. And I remember, because I just recently read it in my diary, it was $320
in this roll of money.
This roll of money. And I was so excited. And in my diary, I put, Mom was so happy that we even got a Slurpee at Kmart that day. And so I think the first instinct was to turn it in. I think my mom tried to turn it in and they said, well, it didn't belong to anybody. So they let her keep it. So she's able to buy little extra groceries that day. And I always remember in my diary, I wrote, Mom was so excited with the $320.
Okay, I just
imagine
love that, right?
Imagine abundance.
Yeah, isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
And yeah, it's all how we process it, right? And then gratitude is so important, right? Because it's so funny, even just on the other day, I found in a shopping cart, somebody left their prescription in there. And so I ran it back in, and then they were like, oh, yeah, we'll call this person and let them know. I think that just caring about each other. But I bet your mom was so happy when she found that money.
Yeah.
I do feel like God uses little things like that, or like you get a check and you're like, wow, where did that come from? Like in the mail, here's a refund for this or that, or yeah, it's pretty good.
That's the residual. I feel we do a field training the first Friday of every month for our members. It's members only. We keep that kind of private. We tour properties. And my business partner got really choked up this last Friday. And it's beautiful to watch him. He does not have any trouble with sharing vulnerability, but it was beautiful to watch him share of how, and both him and I have this conversation all the time, how we came into this business to buy properties, right, to flip. And then it became, okay, let's teach people. And now it's like we sit back, and even though the operation may not be making a lot of money yet, people are learning, and we've grown. We have project managers, we have investors that are investing money, we have, there's a little bit of everything, but we are literally flipping one person at a time, and we're just sitting back and we're excited. We're excited that this is happening. And it's like you said, it's the abundance in the people. And at the end of the day, I go to sleep feeling great about what we're doing. He goes to sleep, and all of that fear and all of that sacrifice, leaving my family and moving out here 6 years ago, the guilt, the tears that I shed were because I need to forgive myself and know what I needed to do.
Yeah.
And
that's good, right?
Yeah, that's what I did.
And I like that you bet on yourself, right? Because some of us don't, we're not taught to bet on ourselves and to trust ourselves. And it's when we bet on ourselves, it can really benefit long term, and you have freedom to do more of the things that you want to do.
Absolutely. I'm very grateful to, to the Sub 2 community, to OCJV, to Buyer Beater, even to SoCal JV. I've made so many friends at different networking events. Again, I don't come from a real estate background. I raised capital on a whole different level. I did investments in a whole different world. But I don't know if you ever read The Tipping Point.
Yeah, I have that. And people give up too soon, right? The magic's going to happen. You know what's so cute about that? When I started in real estate as an agent 20 some years ago now, there was an old guy, because this is back before like computers and everything. I mean, I think we had computers, but it was not like today. But he was working at the front desk. Back in the day, you had desk time. And it's so funny he goes, oh, you're new. And I said, yeah, I'm new. And he told me his name, and he says, okay, Colleen, I have one piece of advice for you. And I'm like, well, bring it on. I want it, right? Here's the old timer sitting at the desk. And he says, don't quit before the magic happens. He says, I see so many people quit right before the magic was going to happen for them. And it takes time. There's that saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. Well, neither was a real estate business, neither was an investment business or private money lending business. Anything worth having is going to take time, because I was a teacher before I got into real estate, I had a lot of skills to acquire and learn, and limiting beliefs and mindset things and objections to, all these things that took time and experience, and getting some failures and beat ups and setbacks and that I had to overcome, right?
Yeah.
Tell me about Tipping Point. What did you love about it?
Well, I mean, immediately, so it was given to me as a gift, so that I could help kind of identify my role. And even though I've always been a connector, I don't think I realized or I recognized myself as a connector. And I've had friends that have told me they've told me before, you haven't even lived in LA your entire life, and you know more people than people know. If you're looking for something, ask Christina.
Yeah, she'll know.
She
Yeah.
knows. So, I feel like Tipping Point really taught me to grasp that identity and to be proud of it. And there are a lot of people that need help, and I can't provide all the answers, but I might know somebody that can, and that makes me feel good. The same thing is like not giving up, because there are times, oh, I'm telling you, there are times and it was scary and it was lonely and it was hard and there was guilt and there was judgment.
A lot of judgment. Tell me the question I ask everyone that comes on the show is, tell me a time that you were brave in your life.
I think I don't want to get choked up.
You can be choked up. We don't apologize for having feelings on the Born to Be Brave YouTube channel. We're real people. We like to share from our heart.
Yeah, I'm real.
Yeah, we're really real here. We're real people.
I love Brene Brown's, which teaches us about vulnerability, right? Her TED Talk's amazing. I think one of the hardest times in my life was leaving anybody and everybody behind that I knew. I mean, Texas is my home. I still wear the ring. I wear my son's necklace, when I can. I had 3 beautiful children, and he was 11 at the time when I moved out here. I had just gone through a divorce. It was a really tough time because I lost my identity as who I thought I was. And I went back and forth for a year, not knowing, because I wasn't that little girl that said I wanted to live in Hollywood and wanted to be in California. I never said that. But when I finally made that decision that this was what was going to be best for not only myself, but for my family, for my children, for my future, for my legacy, for my peace. And I prayed a lot. I asked God every day, like, give me a sign, like, teach me, tell me, is this what I'm supposed to do? And doors just kept opening. And I'll never forget, I packed up my home, and I was in my car, and I still have a picture from the rearview mirror. And I literally felt like I left a piece of me behind. And I didn't know what my future looked like, but I knew that there was something bigger out there. And so today, when I look back at that photo, it was the bravest thing, because we stood in a beautiful $3.2 million home in Studio City on Friday, and I saw the smiles and the strength of these people that believe in what we're doing. And I meet people such as yourself, and have spoken to people that have been in this industry for years, and they have so much faith in me. And it was all because I had the bravery to be able to take that 1,700-mile drive out to the West Coast and be with the sunset and be near the water. And my children are happy, and I'm the happiest that I've been in my entire adult life. And I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. And God keeps showing me that by meeting people, by giving me that peace, that I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
Thanks for sharing that with us. And I think that you did leave a piece of yourself in Texas. And I think that we can't be the new version of ourselves and the next level of what success is for us, or whatever, that new version, that new and improved version, if we don't let go of baggage, stories that we tell ourselves, limiting beliefs. I've become friends with a lady who lives in a homeless shelter, who Pace Morby, who's my friend and mentor and started this Up To community. He's helping her get her first deal. She wrote to him. And I decided to be my friends with her. It's a long story, but he brought her out to California, and I had my concussion, so I had to get someone to take a present to her. But I've been texting her every day, or not most days, because we can never outperform our self-identity. And so when you're living in a shelter, I've never lived in a shelter, but I've had a son that's lived in a shelter. And when whatever it is, a divorce, leaving behind family, whatever we tell ourselves about ourselves is we have to use our imagination to visualize what we really want our ideal life to be like. We need to use our imagination to help us co-create, because our imagination doesn't know the difference. The problem is everyone's looking, like you talked about the rear view mirror. And the problem is when you're driving in your car, and if you are not looking out the front windshield and you are looking out the rear view mirror and you're driving down the 405 freeway, what's going to happen to you eventually?
Yeah.
You're going to crash.
Yeah. You're
right?
not. Yeah.
And so it's so important that we don't rehash all the weird stuff that's happened to us or for us, and that we start looking forward. And you drove forward. Is it 1,700 miles?
1,700 miles.
Yeah, you drove here, right? With a vision and a dream, with hope.
With hope. Right?
And faith and courage. And I think that somehow we think that life is going to be easy and but it is good, but the path isn't easy. I think that it's full of ups and downs and bumps, but God always puts all the right people in our place. And aren't you glad you bet on yourself and came out here?
Absolutely. And now the job is to testify. Now the job is to witness, so that people don't have it as hard as you did, right?
Yeah, help them out.
Yeah, and that's. I mean, I have a servant heart, and I do love to share, and I do love, if I know it, let me figure out a way to share it. People invest in people, whether it's time, whether it's monetarily, whether it's vulnerability, whether it's food. People invest in people.
Yeah. And I think that people is our most important resource, right? Because I've never been involved in a deal that didn't involve people.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping AI doesn't take that out of the equation.
Yeah, right. But if you do,
Sure.
But you know what's interesting with the AI thing, I interviewed Pace Morby on my show.
I saw it.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And I did ask him about AI, right? Replacing people's jobs. Because they say in the next 10 years, like 80% of jobs will be gone.
Yeah.
And whether that's true or not, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, because if I had a crystal ball, I wouldn't be sitting here interviewing people. I would be selling the crystal ball each time. We'd have the crystal ball right here. We'd be selling.
We'd have a different podcast. We'd have a ball cast.
Yeah. But you know what's so funny is literally, I asked Pace to break it down. Like, what should you do if your job is in jeopardy, or you think your job might be in jeopardy for the next in the next 10 years. And he said for 4 hours a week, if you just, focus on building your real estate portfolio, and you got up to like $10,000, $20,000 a month in passive income from that, then you can make sure your necessities are taken care of, right? And I thought, yeah, I think that we don't realize that, like, an extra flippant, if you teach someone who has a 9-to-5 job how to fix and flip a house, and then they get that extra money that they can then turn into a down payment for purchasing and holding a property, or lending it out, or investing in commercial real estate or multifamily, or it's just these little things, they add up over time and make a big difference in people's lives.
Yeah, and the sense of community, right? I mean, we are actually getting ready to have an event, coordinating an event in June, and it's right before summer. So what do we do before summer? We strip down, right?
Yeah.
And so we're going to call it the Naked Truth about real estate, and we're going to talk about the not so fun deals, because everybody's went through them.
Yeah, there's no getting around it.
Yeah.
You're going to have some tough ones, right?
But if you don't share that, then people don't know, right? They don't know. They go out there, and we want to share what's not worked for us, so that somebody doesn't do that, or they can coordinate what am I trying to say? They can strategize much better than what we did. And they can maybe evaluate things in a different manner. When is your event, and how can people get a hold of you to find out more details about it? Well, so we have our website. I love our website because our brand consultant has done an amazing job with it. So fixandflippeerconnect.com is where we have all of our updates, our contact information, our social media. That's, to me, it's the go spot. You can kind of see a little bit about who we are, what we do, and the people within our community. Our next event for June is June 6th. I'm sorry, June 26th, which is going to be the naked truth behind real estate, all the good, bad, the ugly, and stripped down before summer. We do have member events that are taking place in our calendars on our website under events as well. So I love to be at networking events. So if anybody wants us to come out and speak or to just get on a phone call with me, please. I love to meet people.
That's good. Thank you so much for coming on the show. Is there a question I should ask you that I didn't ask you that you would like to talk about?
No, I mean, I love this. To me, this was very authentic. Authenticity is very important to me, and I feel this just is very authentic. I felt like I was just chatting with a girlfriend, which, I mean, we are girlfriends now.
Yes. But isn't it nice? Like people are like, well, what's your plan? I'm like, I have a list of questions that I have memorized in my head of things I would like to know about people, but I don't ever have a plan because I let it go. And then I listen and then just go with the plan. If that, I mean, there's, do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I just let it unfold. And I think that when we're real, then people can connect to it. Because if this is all scripted, how can we help you, right? So just know that Christina has been on a journey. I've been on a journey. You're on a journey. And there's no sense you trying to navigate this by yourself, right?
Correct.
And you can definitely shorten your learning curve by getting into community, do your research, figure out what vibes with you, what doesn't vibe with you, and take a chance on yourself, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And when you have people that are in your corner, I mean, I love to watch your social media. I love to see that when at OCJV, just everybody's just coming and hugging you. You just, these are good people. I'm very thankful to Sonia because Sonia actually introduced me to you.
Yeah, see, I love
Yeah.
her.
Oh yeah. She's been amazing. And she's just one of those people that she's like, hey, I want you to meet this person. I want you to meet this person.
Mhm.
That's networking at its finest. That's somebody that sees value in you and they just want to share you. And I hope to do that with everybody in my circle as well.
Yeah, see, and then my real estate goal is to help women over 40 learn to get financial freedom through investing in real estate or passively investing, as a money lender, because it's never too late to get started. And so there's only like 30 or 40% of investors are women.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have two granddaughters that are young, and I want that to change by the time they get older. And so as we empower each other and support each other, then all the boats rise, right? And so
I'm working on a peer group. I would love for you to sit on the panel. Because same thing is that, and Latina women as well.
Mhm.
We have a large portion. I mean, we have a large amount of Latina women that are part of our community.
Yes,
And
let's empower them.
yeah, absolutely. And they tell their husband where to spend the money. So
Yeah, right. Which is so good.
We have
Take note, everyone, right?
Absolutely.
I would be honored to be involved with that. I would be honored. But yes, that is my big goal. I loved Sonia when I met her. I'm like, oh, girlfriend, we are soul sisters, right? Anyway, you guys, take action. You were born to be brave. Get out there. I had no idea what I was doing. I started this YouTube channel and I go to networking events and just get out there and meet people, right?
Absolutely.
Take a chance. And you might get some. My best friends now are all from the real estate investment community. Not all of them, but a good chunk of them. And I didn't know any of these ladies, right?
Mhm.
So before, and men, I know a lot of great men too. I'm not against men. I mean, I've been married for 37 years, so but I definitely recommend dating as an interview process. Pay attention, right?
Right.
Don't be afraid to be alone. Like
Yeah.
run. If people show you that they're not good people and they're just run, right?
Wash it off.
Wash it off. Yeah,
Wash it off.
yeah, you're worth peace.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'd rather,
Sure.
yeah, it's worth peace. Anyway, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
Yeah, it was fun. Worked out great.
Most definitely.
Thanks for watching, you guys.
Thank you.